Listen.
And we're live.
As a mother lover, bitches and bitchettes, welcome back to another midweek, what do we call it? Midweek musing? Midweek marauder?
Midweek my special.
Midweek my special, mother lovers, yeah. Some shit you might not never know nothing about. We are back again, and we gotta send some love to all our listeners out there locked in already, man. We appreciate all of you bitches and bitchettes. You see, we don't discriminate, bitches and bitchettes. We got to make sure everyone's involved in this. Hey, hope you've had a good week, man. It's good to be back. You know what I mean? I'm here with my co-host, Dan DNA. What's going on, bruv?
Good, yeah.
So what are you saying? Is it flat or is it round? Is it flat or is it a sphere, boy? Shout out to all the crew that were locked in last week, man. That was hilarious, man. We had David Wise, you know, talking about the flat earth situation. I thought it was really interesting, man. Just like the whole, you know, the premise that he's got and everything behind it. And, you know, all the proofs that he had and whatnot. But then also just the reaction from people about it as well. It's just like, yo, this is an emotional subject, man. I didn't realize.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that emotional. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Tune in to check out what was going on last week with that as well. And yeah, man, we're back again. This week's gonna be I'm gonna have fun talking about this, man, because it's one of my what should I say? It's something that I got into. I was doing it from a very young age, but I didn't realize that's what it was until there was a name for it. You know, when you got to get away from something, you got to get away however you can. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's got to be a lot of fun, man. But let's shout out the common senses, because you know we are powered by the cult of common sense. So we have to big up all the common senses. The chat room, big up to Black Einstein in the building. Evening all, easy your more. Shout out to Kenny Rebel. Nice one, JM. What's going on, brother? That's you. Hey, I see he's working, boy. This is what I like to see when MCs are proud that they're rehearsing, that they're putting in that work to make sure when it's time for the show, everything is how it needs to be. You're calm. You're cool. When you practice, when it's time for the show, you feel like you've done it a million times already. So you're cool. But when you're, that's when people start messing up. Voices all keel out, like you can't rap anymore. Mouth is dry. You're shitting yourself. Nah, man. So it's good to see you've been rehearsing. Huh?
Knees are heavy.
Palms are sweaty. Shout out to Kenny Rebel. What's going on, bruv? Yes, man. Good to see the people. POK's back with us. Okay. Everything is spherical again. POK is back with us. What's going on, bruv, man? That was hilarious, boy. I was chatting to him on Insta about it. He's like, nah, I don't subscribe, bruv. Yeah. Shout out to Gleam, man. We got to chat to Gleam.
Yeah.
I think we got to get Gleam on to
a bit of a counterweight to the flat earth thing.
Yeah, to help us understand, because he's been there and done that, and he's kind of I guess come out the other side, whether it be a sphere side or a flat side. And I find it interesting that, you know what I mean, he's been in that world but comes out and he's like, nah, I don't know if it's right though. You know what I mean? But he understands where people are coming from. Yeah. So I think it would be a good idea to get his opinion on what's going on with what we're on. But I think me and Dan, you know, speaking about it after, we come to terms with the fact that maybe we're not meant to know this shit. Yeah. You know, if we were supposed to know whether we're on a sphere or on a pizza, what did you call it?
Yeah.
You felt like pizza after.
Pizza Earth. Yeah.
I'm sure we'd be given the ability without having to jump in any machine or whatever to find that out. And so maybe we're not meant to know, man.
Well, the same as like your eye can only see like 4K.
Yeah.
You know, they say, oh, beyond 4K is just beyond the ability for your eye to actually, you know, pick up all those pixels at once. So it's just meaningless once you go beyond 4K. So, you know, who knows? Maybe you're not meant to see. Maybe the eye, maybe the body didn't evolve to look at things like whole planetary systems at once. You know, maybe you're only meant to be looking across like savannas. That's it.
That's it, innit?
That's as much as we've evolved to just like hunt animals.
As far as the eye can see.
Yeah, as far.
Because the rest of it, you're just being greedy. Where's Xavier? I should have gone as far as the eye. Yeah, you know, because it's just like, man, people are going to be arguing
Beyond
about it
that
forever.
point, it's just speculation for
Exactly.
everything.
It's
and
just
even if you're seeing it as a curve, there might be with how the eye distorts things at that sort of distance. You know, the same as you use a camera and it distorts it as a fisheye.
Exactly.
When you're watching stuff, you know,
we've seen it, man.
You see big landscapes, suddenly it becomes bent and curved, and you know, maybe the eye does a similar thing.
We saw it with that video when he comes up. Well, when pork chop. Was it a pork chop? Yeah,
it's a pork chop.
I thought it was a lamb chop, man.
Lamb chop might have been a lamb chop.
Yeah, I think it's a lamb chop because I wouldn't have been staring at a pork chop for that long, but
yeah.
I started getting the bubble guts like, oh man, this pork chop looked like maggots and stuff. I started to creep out like, yo, what the fuck are we doing up here, man? Yeah. Maggots like 35,000 feet high on the pork chop. What the hell do you do? Like, yo, I ain't built for this shit. Yo, oh shit, this shit's flat though. Maggots try to come back down. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, this is the thing as well, is like, there are people that have been up there apparently and took pictures and whatnot, and you know, what I guess we heard just a little while ago that there's one true picture of the planet Earth from the moon. Do you know what I mean? But how comes that's it? How come that's the only picture, man? Like that just makes it suspicious, isn't it? That whole thing makes it like, okay, so all them lot that were just flying up there just recently, I'd have been like, bruv, I'm a billionaire. I could make more billions when you know what I mean? I get it's true. It's truth out there. They didn't do it.
Gleam saying, as far as the eye can see, is a myth. Nikon P1000. But again, a camera was only made by humans, you know, so it's a camera only measures what humans see. So perhaps humans can't see everything. You know what I mean, cameras are made by man, so they're made to perceive what man can perceive. Yeah. So it's the same. Any tool that man has made is only there to measure the perception of man. So beyond that, I mean, it's all speculation beyond what humans can see.
Here he goes with that Masonic talk. We're talking about tools and shit. Like, as you know, in-house, in-house, he's a carpenter, but you know, on the low, it's like, you know, that's some Masonic shit. You got the compass and the square.
Yeah, you know what that means.
What else? What else do you lot carry? Apron,
pencil.
Yeah,
behind the ear. Pencil behind the ear. You see the pencil come in first.
Cup of tea, builder's tea. They're the little codes when you're holding the builder's tea like that. Right, see the way he's holding the builder's tea. Yeah, he's one of us, mate.
Tape measure with inches and centimeters. I can use both measurements.
And it takes temperature as well. Yeah. Degrees. Yo. But yeah, we got to work it out, man. Shout out to Irish. Big up to the CMOS boss in the building. Come on. He says, big up Dad and Mice, Diggy Love from Torain. And Richie the CMOS boss, of course. Yes. More blacks, more dogs, more Irish, more everything, boy. More of that CMOS, mother lovers. Of course, it's a good segue to let you know. CMOS has, they say at least, is it 92 minerals? 92 different minerals. You know what I mean? That's something you might not never know nothing about. But listen, when it comes to CMOS, I think the best place for you to go is to the CMOS boss.
No, yeah.
The reason why is because that shit is wild crafted. It's organic. And there's a whole bunch of shit you might not never know nothing about available from there. The CMOSboss.co.uk. You can get your dose, your bladder rack. You can get the gels that are made specially for you. What else is there? There's sea spaghetti. Sea spaghetti's banging. You know what I mean? It's different. Put some soy sauce on there, just a little bit of soy sauce. You know what I mean? Don't soy boy it out, but you know what I mean. Just add a little spice in there, maybe some cayenne. Bruv, go in, man. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot there. Iodine levels, potassium levels. You know what I mean? Iron, magnesium. There's a whole bunch there that you need virtually every day. So I think the best place for you to go is the cmosboss.co.uk. And if you want, you can get 10% off by keying in about 10. ABOUT 10. That's 10% off any order from the cmosboss.co.uk. Bitches and bitchettes. Yeah, man.
Yeah, go.
Right, who else we got? Before we go in, because, you know, I think it's time to deal with some, you know, inner work on this podcast. Shout out to Regantology in the building. What's going on, brother? Yes. It's time. Nick on camera. People got to get that Nick on camera. I think I'm going to get it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to, you know what I mean? I need to see the shit for myself. It's time, D. We got to work out what we're on. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it was funny, man. It was a great little podcast, man. And we you know, it was nice to see a few new faces as well come through. New names, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. That was good, yeah.
But yo, let's get into this.
Feedback on it overall.
Yeah. There's good feedback on it for sure, man. Like, what you know, shout out to DJ Locke, shout out to Regantology. There's a few people that hit me up and they were like, that was interesting. And he had some, you know, points that made sense. That's the thing. But you still walk away from it like, yeah, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fair enough, man. Like, I think people should accept that sometimes you're not meant to know shit. And it's all good if you don't. You know, you can still search for the truth. Do you know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, I don't think it's something we can argue about when we can't. All we've got is information that we're given. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be images or words and statistics and numbers and all that. We don't, because we haven't done the measurements, we don't 100% know if it's true. You know what I mean? We just have to believe it. But yeah, man, dealing with fear, mother lovers. You know what I mean? There's nothing to be scared of. And I'm telling you that right now. There is nothing to be scared of. You don't have to believe me, but you can look around and you can see the only thing to be scared of is being scared, bitches and bitchettes. And my guest this week, he deals with fear in a whole different way. People, you know what I mean? You heard that last tune before we came in. Said nowadays, I'm more inspired by free runners than rappers. I like to write, you know what I mean, whether it be by the water or a beach or, you know what I mean? I could be like watching some fights or I could be watching free running. A lot of the time, I'm watching these dudes, you know, snowboarding. I'm watching that, you know, that crazy snowboarding where they're going down and there's like avalanches following them and shit. Yeah, it gets you hyped, man. But free running is something that I actually got into. I started training it as well. And it's a whole nother level. But when you start to learn about it, you realize, oh, it's actually called parkour. You know, it started off as parkour. I believe in France. And it's a way to maneuver your body in some ways that you might not never know nothing about. You know what I mean? Covering ground in a whole different way. Damn near Spider-Man for real type shit. Do you know what I mean? So back in the day when man was trying to get away from, it was them type of moves he was pulling off, but I had no idea it was a sport or, you know. So I want to bring in my brother from Sydney, Australia, live by satellite. You know, I enjoy saying that, live by satellite. Masta Marx, parkour, and the sick MC, by the way. You know we got to keep it hip-hop. What's going on, brother?
Not much, guys. Hey, thanks for having me.
Good morning, man.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good evening to you, fellas.
Yes, man. Yes, bruv. Good to speak to you, man. Yo.
Yeah, finally. A lot of back and forth correspondence.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we got to do some work. Like, we got some music together. Got to be doing some more shit as well, man. But this guy's a sick MC and crazy with his movement as well. Like, the type of stuff he pulls off. It's next level. So I've been saying to people, yeah, like, you know, I'll just fling on some parkour stuff. I don't know who's who, but whether it be like competitions or, you know, crews or whoever, I'll just put on stuff. And the mad thing was, you know, yourself and Dom Tomato, and there was someone else as well. And you lot had done a video, and I was like, right, that's crazy. And then, you know, it was a matter of like weeks later, we ended up chatting, you know, on Insta and whatnot. And I was like, yo, this is nuts, man. And you were already saying like, yo, you know, I've been listening to your stuff, blah, blah, blah. For, you know, obviously like digging down under stuff and all that. And I was like, right, this is mad, man. Like all of a sudden, then I'm getting people hit me up and going, yo, I just heard your tune on, you know, so like one of these, whether it be Stora or one of your guys.
Dom.
I was like, yo,
Dom's a huge user of your tracks.
Yeah, Dom Tomato. Dom Tomato.
Yeah.
Crazy guy, man. He's a crazy ass guy, but you're nuts as well, man. I wanted to get into talking about what you do. I think the best way to start it is probably if we fling on one of them videos, then let people see what Masta Marx gets up to when he's not in the studio, boy. And
Run that.
And if you can like
VT.
just like when did you start doing this? When you know, like what sort of age were you when?
I've been practicing for, I'd say, about 13 years. It's like I'm nearly at like doctorate and a half level with the training of the parkour. It's really great. You know, there's a lot of good aspects to it. One, it's really accessible. You don't even need shoes, bro.
You don't need shoes.
You don't need shoes.
What? Even on the concrete?
Yeah, well, because when you land on your feet without shoes, you're gonna know even quicker where not to land. Yeah,
and how to land as well.
Yeah, how to land lightly and stuff. How to disperse that speed. So you can be anybody, and then just go outside, and then just try to roll. And that's really like the beginning of a journey. And
the rolling, when you say rolling, this is like sort of front rolling, right?
Forward rolls, commando rolls, like actual rolls. No bacon and egg rolls.
Shame.
No bacon. Sorry, D. No Masonic rolls, man.
No Masonic rolls.
You know what I mean? And
Throw
MacD's. That's what that MacD's, the bacon sausage McMuffin. That's what it's about. Yo, so that's how you started. Then it was like, okay, I've got to learn how to fall first of all.
Actually, I was doing nothing. I had like no discipline, no interests or anything like that. And I went to I saw a video called Jump London. It's pretty old now, but it blew my mind. I watched the video and I was like, people are just jumping. And then it started a very long journey of understanding parkour. Like you said earlier, you get into it and you realize it's very deep.
Definitely, man.
So this is like my physical discipline.
So this is something you're doing in order to sort of get yourself in a certain state of mind.
Yeah, definitely. I use this as like a tool for a lot of things. I need to keep my body healthy. I like to keep my brain strong by battling things that are scary. And then I also enjoy the process of my brain telling my body like what it can and can't do, and then overcoming that.
Go on.
Well, your brain's a funny thing. Like it doesn't want you to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, you could have all these ideas about what you want to do, but if you don't know how to do it, or you've never done something like that before, your brain's going to just tell you, nah, it's a risk.
There's like a level of also keeping because like you said, your brain's telling you nah. And so there must be a point where your brain even gets to that point of like, no, so much that I'm going to make you feel sick, or I'm going to make you feel dizzy, or, you know?
Yeah, that does happen, like overload.
Yeah.
It's like being aware of the success comes a part of being aware of the consequence. And you have to be able to like adapt the consequence if it happens before you can even get the success.
That is nuts, man. So, all right. So seeing you do that last leap there, yeah?
Yeah.
You've obviously got there's a point where, you know, your senses are working on another level, because I guess you can practice that length a few times, right? You can just practice that length to see how far you've got to jump, like from
in a different situation,
and
lower
then
to the ground.
And then, but obviously, there's a point where you've got to actually do that now. You've got to do that wall from that wall to that wall. You know, you got to do from that wall to that wall with that distance, and it's the first time you're doing it. Correct?
Yes, that is a thing that happens.
So, how, you know, is it a case of you already understanding the distance that enables you to just carry on? Like, okay, I'm pretty sure I've got this. Or is it a case of you just going, oh shit?
Pretty sure is not enough.
I didn't think so.
It's not. Like, you have to have all of the pieces beforehand. Like, you're like, I can make this distance of jump. I can stick this distance of jump. I can jump too far if need be. If I don't jump far enough, I can drop down and catch the wall. If you don't have all of those pieces, that's when it's unsafe. When people start to move outside of their boundaries of knowledge, that's when you're at risk.
Right. So in that case, then it is a case of like going through it again and again.
Hey, watch this move coming up. You're going to love it. This is one of those moves where you have to have all the pieces. Ready? Yeah. So like, I need to be able to do the first vault, the cat pass.
Reload that.
I need to be able to stick my legs out at the wall. And I need to be able to absorb that. Like, if I like face plant that wall, I still have like another story drop to go down.
Right. Yeah. How do you
potentially not fun?
How do you prepare for like each of those moves though? I mean, do you sort of work backwards with it, or are you sort of done each of these things so many times that
I've done
you
a
just
lot of
put
this
them
stuff
together in the field? Yeah,
I've done a lot of this stuff many times over time, but each individual move, especially a move like this, requires its own preparation.
Yeah.
So for that move, what I did first was I stood on the edge of the wall that I vaulted off, and I jumped at the wall, and I made sure that I could do the splat, which was like hit my feet and then touch the wall with my hands and drop down. I needed to know that I can take the drop. So that was part of the prep.
Right.
So what people, there's a thing that happens with what you're doing that people might not know nothing about. That was smooth now.
That was smooth.
And that is obviously there's energy involved in this. You're generating energy as you're jumping like that jump. So your feet and your hands are actually helping you, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so can you talk about that process? Like because you're obviously making sure that that happens as well at the right moments, which I think is just crazy in order for you to land like that. It's just smoothly.
Yeah. This is why parkour is so great. And this is why it's held me for so long. Like, I thought it was just the thing where you just jump at stuff and overcome fears, but it turns out it's like a full-on set of techniques that work. So for this move, the one where I jump over the wall to the wall, I have to run, and then I have to jump before my hands touch the wall. So I have to already be flying. And then from the flying, I need to touch the wall with my hands and essentially do a push-up, and then extend that jump. So the point of this jump is like, I want to make a full-size jump, but there's a wall in my way.
Yeah.
So I need to pass the wall.
Oh, geez.
So need to pass the wall. And then I need to like pike at the wall like a precision jump.
Yeah.
But there's obviously no precision. So I need to react really quickly.
Bruv, that is nuts, man.
But it's part of the fun. I love that battle. My brain's like, initially is like, no. And I'm like, well, I think I can. So I need to now spend some time convincing my brain that it's possible.
Yeah.
Like, see myself doing it, for example.
Yeah. The see yourself doing it part, I definitely hear that, because I think that's a big part. For you to even take the steps in the first place, you've kind of got to visualize it a bunch of times to be like, yeah, I'm good. Anyway, but then there's also the case of, which I'm sure a lot of people are asking, is how do you practice that then? How do you practice, jumping that high? And the thing is, what you can see as well, like I'm talking about the energy, is like from your feet, you know, on the other shot where you landed on the wall, your feet were sort of, you know, I guess expelling some of that energy in a way, so that you wouldn't
some of
be.
it flicked down.
Yeah, it flicked down.
Yeah, so I had all this forwards force. So when I did the cat pass, that's what this move is. So do the cat,
Bam.
and now I have to like pull my chest back.
Yeah, okay.
And stick my legs out.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, like there's a chance that my feet will go too low, like because of that speed transfer that you were just talking about. I need to jar it a little bit. Yeah. If I let it flick all the way down, then I'm potentially looking at like a chest sandwich with the wall.
Bam. And so your hands are just there just in case. Yeah, you're
like
just,
boxing, bro.
Yeah. Keeping your guard just in case.
That's it. Got to guard your face, guard your grill at all times.
And then to land like that, man, you're landing like a cat, like nothing. Like, you know, look how high that is. Bam. Look.
No, but that's the first speed drop there. So when I hit the wall,
that's the hardest.
That's like cutting off all of that forward speed, which could have been added to the down speed.
Yeah.
But I don't. So because I hit the wall, it's like kind of like pinballs, like hit the wall and I slowed and stopped for a moment and then my speed started again. So it's like, it looks, if I took the drop from the top, like this one, it would be a much harder hit.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because
the momentum, you're breaking the momentum by hitting the wall.
Is the speed change.
Yeah.
So you break some momentum, expelling some of the energy. Bam, there.
Yeah, you got to slow your fall.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the rolls. And like, see how I'm landing on the ground and I put my hands on the floor? If I just jar it and land on my legs, there's not going to be too much distance for my knees to go. So I need that full range to be able to essentially what is keep moving. If you jump down there and you don't roll, like see how I roll, I keep the momentum going because it still has force and I need to get rid of that somehow.
Yeah. That's exactly it. The momentum. Crazy, man. Crazy, bro. Yeah, and there's like no limits to, I mean, you must dream about this shit. You must just wake up, go, I want to try this.
Sometimes I dream of not doing it.
For real?
Like sometimes I've overcommitted to something and I'm like, I don't have all the pieces. Yeah, that I like this video too. It's got the My Sticky soundtrack.
Sick. Bravo, it's an honor, man. When I see something like this going on and like my music's involved, I'm always like, yo. Serious. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy because once I got into this, I was like, yo, this is next level. Like, you know, obviously there should be a lot more, but now you're seeing it in films and whatnot, you know, like people using the whole parkour thing.
Yeah, it recently became an option on insurance, like public liability insurance.
Serious?
Yeah, so you can now you don't for a really long time, us like parkour performers and athletes had to go around that system and get like stunt insurance and stuff like that. It doesn't really cover what we do. Now it's finally happening because it's not like, it doesn't seem to be a trend.
Nah, it's not a trend, man.
It seems like this one's here, like it's here, like skateboarding, you know. It's here
yeah, for sure. Because there's, you know, it's like you're not using anything but your body, you know. So they can't tell you nothing. It's like, no, man, trust. This is stayed. As long as there are people that are able to do it and learning it, and wasn't it in the Olympics as well?
So there's this company. There's like the Federation of Gymnastics. This is a whole story in itself, so I'm going to give you the abridged version.
Yeah.
But the International Federation for Gymnastics neglected parkour for a really long time and wanted nothing to do with it because, you know, fad, trendy stuff. And now that it's become its own thing, now they want in. But as soon as they do that, it's like the whole problem with all of the Olympic committees. You have like these large groups like setting out and dictating the rules for other groups, even though they're not necessarily a part of it. So for example, like I love snowboarding and I love skiing, but the Olympic Committee for snowboarding is the skiing people.
Is it?
And you don't do the same things.
Yeah.
You don't like, yeah. So the parkour is like now subject to that in the Olympic Committee, like how handball's a part of like field and shit.
That's a bit
It
annoying.
sucks when people that are not passionate about what you do run what you do.
Yeah. It's like when you got boxing refs for MMA fights. It's just like, nah,
exactly.
Man.
It's not like
judges.
It's close, but it's not it.
Yeah, they don't quite get it, man.
They don't quite get it.
Okay. So that obviously it's a growing thing then. So can you talk about how it started then, like your sort of history behind parkour? I believe it started in France. I've forgotten there were two guys in it, and they fell out.
You'll get lots of different accounts for how it started. Like depending on who you ask, like some people will tell you that it's always been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people will tell you it came from like French military practices. But the story that I grew up on, I don't know if it's true or not, was a man named David Bell just loved the way his father moved. His father was a fireman. So I like to believe that parkour, the art of parkour, moving in the urban environment, comes from like the efforts of firemen.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. They're the hero. They're heroes. That's like a hero.
No, for sure. It's the gear though. They got a lot of gear.
They do got a lot of gear, but they also do climbing. That's like they got the ladders and shit, and they deal with heights. And they got to deal with heights quickly. If you're like a big building and it's burning down, it's like that fire's not going to wait.
Yeah.
You got to get mother lovers out of there.
That's a whole nother level of fear as well, isn't it? To deal with.
Oh my God.
Like you're walking into the fire, bro.
Yeah, at least what I do, I can fully assess everything. Like I can go and kick the other wall, make sure it doesn't break.
Like most of us are like, yeah, that wouldn't quite cut it for me, man. I need some like
yeah, that's that. The only times I've really injured myself is when I didn't check.
Right.
So that's like part of having all the pieces. Like all the surfaces are like they're good to touch. They won't break. It's not like a loose glue on the tile or something like that.
Yeah. Or loose bricks on the top of the wall or something that you're gonna.
It's the unknowns that get you. And I think that's what a lot of people's problem is with jumping. When a lot of people haven't practiced jumping in some form, like gymnastics or dancing or whatever, the end of the jump is an unknown thing. They're like, I'm going to jump, but I don't know what's going to happen when I land.
Yeah. And because of that, they end up fumbling, you're saying?
Yeah, they end up fumbling or doing it silly or only being able to do things like kind of sarcastically. A lot of people do singing and dancing that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But this is a dangerous thing. You can't, you can't be doing that with this.
No, yeah, you shouldn't be hesitating. You shouldn't be doing things where you are hesitating. It's like as much as it builds your body, makes you strong and all that, it builds your brain over a long amount of time, and it builds trust between your brain and your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more you do it, the more you start to trust yourself.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And then I guess you're always once you're like, okay, I trust myself to this level, then there's always another level to push yourself, right? Which is what
that's the addictive progression right there.
Addictive progression, boy. Is that what they call it? For real, that's what it is, isn't it?
It's that dopamine.
I get it with the bars, man. I get it with writing. It's like,
same.
Where you just feel like, oh man, all right, nah, this has got, and it starts flowing, and you're getting that dopamine rush, like you're saying, man. So I could
get a good bar. I wrote a good one the other day. It's like, people always write about pens and stuff. Like my pen is this and my pen is that.
Yeah.
Liquid swords. I can think of so many. And I was thinking about it like, how do we draw out the pen thing even more? And I was like, you know what? I hold a pen closer than a swan who would never love again. That gave me the dopamine.
Ooh, bars.
Good.
You're born for that. Yeah. Bars, bruv. Yeah,
Bars.
boy. Right. So that dopamine rush. How do you deal with that then? Obviously, there might be, I mean, like you said, you've got to test everything out, but there might be levels you want to push yourself to, and, you know, you feel like, all right, I need to get that rush. How do I, you know, how do you deal with that in terms of...
I don't like the rush.
No?
I prefer the calm. Yeah, because when I'm like adrenaline, like when I'm feeling the adrenaline, like my legs are shaky and I'm like scared, and these are not the pieces that I need.
Okay.
I need to be like centered and calm. I need my legs to be working exactly the way that I want them to. And my hands too. And if I'm sort of scared, then I'm thinking about things too much. When you do stuff, you want to just do it mindlessly, because to execute perfectly, you don't necessarily need to think about it. If it's at that level, you're just doing it.
Like walking, like eating, like driving.
All of that. You don't even think. You're just like, okay, I'm going to wake up. Then you just get up.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
So is that the difference between what you're talking about, the origins of it being, say, like firemen, or over here? I think the origins, most people I know who used to do stuff like this were
out there robbing.
So
Batman
they were having to get
people
in and out of rooftops and windows, and
they were doing B&Es, and we're not talking bacon and egg rolls.
Yeah, fucking
but
right, mate.
But that's all adrenaline.
Yeah.
So that is So and the same with being the fireman.
Calculated.
Yeah, right. So do you think that's the main difference then? Is that for you to be able to do it, because in those situations you don't care if you hurt yourself as long as you can get away.
Yeah, it's true. Actually,
I think there's like a different feeling taking precedence. It's like you have a different goal. You know, like the goal in that situation isn't the movement. The goal is what you're trying to do. And the movement is just like necessary part of being in there. Whereas what I do, it's all about the movement. So there's no time limit.
Right.
And that's a huge thing. Like somebody getting you to do something within a certain time frame sometimes is stressful.
Definitely.
Might not happen.
Definitely.
And if you're like doing some naughty business, you don't really have a choice. You have to move.
Or being a fireman, of course, the same thing. You know, your time is of the essence. You've got to count down.
You look up, you see people in the building, like they're not going to wait for you to prep your brain.
No, or for you to find a calm place.
Yeah, exactly. Like for you to get centered and zened. Like, okay, my shoulders are set now. Let's do this. I'm ready to save you.
So how do you actually prepare yourself then? What's the whole sort of?
Well, it's kind of like, you know, when you get like a video edited from like a professional video editor, and they do it in like a minute, 10 minutes, but it's because they've been doing it for like 10 years plus. So a lot of my prep has come from all the time spent training and coming up. So a lot of the stuff I do is like reminiscent of the stuff that I've done.
So for instance, like you landing off of the wall, the way you just landed, like I think Blue said, like a cat. you know, that you've done that enough times that you know how to land. You understand what kind of distance you've got, how fast you're going.
Yeah.
And
I started by doing it without the vault.
Okay. Okay.
So the remove one aspect of it.
Yeah.
So having the move where I jump and pass over the wall adds a layer of complication. So it's like run, pass. Pass usually means move over something with your hands. Run, pass, pike, land.
Combination, yeah. Wow, man. See, I'm not even thinking about. Say that again.
Run, pass, pike, land. So landing on the wall and then land on the floor. Two landings.
Right. So the wall is even classed as a landing.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but even though you're in midair, that's a landing.
Yeah. So before
I'm hitting a wall.
Maybe you heard me say precision jump. So what a precision jump is where you choose a landing that you want to land on, and then you land there. It's a choice thing. That's one of the pieces that you need to have. You need to be able to jump where you choose. And it seems like it definitely seems hard because like if you guys have played a bit of basketball, it's not like if you don't practice shooting all the time, it's like it's not easy to get it in all the time.
Yeah, there's a nice one. JM in the chat is saying, I find with skateboarding tricks I've done is when my mind goes blank and I'm on autopilot. The best ones.
That's it. There's no time to think if you want perfection.
So there's like the same thing in like freestyle rap. Obviously, is that like when people freestyle, they have to just shut off. You can't.
Yeah, the best freestyle.
You can't like be like, next line. Like it just and it's from doing something over and over again. And you can't be adrenalized when you're freestyling because it's going to be like, you're going to fumble all the time. Yeah.
So it's going through the motions first of all in your head. Like, okay, this is the jump I want to do. And you obviously there's a little rush from that. You know, going through it, you obviously, all right, this is what I've got to do. And then is it a case of you sort of practicing without using, without actually doing the jumps first of all, just to see where you're at? Like, like you said, you didn't do the pike first of all, you just jumped to the wall and then jumped to the ground. But then
I didn't do the pass first of all. Like I didn't do the vault with where I'd run and jump. First.
Yeah.
So I stood on top of the wall and I jumped at the wall to make sure that I could. I gauged the height and the distance.
Yeah.
First.
Height and distance.
I knew that I could take the drop, but I was thinking if I took the drop from here, which is slightly higher, and it hurts too much, or I had to adjust, like had to think about it, then I probably wouldn't have done it.
Well, so the craziest part is obviously the beginning, then the run and then the jump from the, what do you call that? Where you jumped from the fence to the wall. What was
I
that? I
call that a cat pass.
Cat pass. Oh yeah, cat pass.
Yeah.
So that cat pass.
I think in England over there they call it a Kong vault. Different colloquialisms.
I remember hearing cat pass though. I don't remember.
Yeah, good. Cat pass is traditional, French traditional.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah. And so that's the craziest part then in terms of how the hell did you practice that then? The cat pass.
Yeah, well, I have an affinity for this for the cat pass move. I love that move a lot. So I can already travel like an unusual distance.
Well, with your cat pass, you got that Tarzan where you can do the whole, what they call it?
That cat jump down.
Yeah, okay. You can do prowling. You can prowl around for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a mountain cat.
Yeah. And the having trained for like 13 years, I have a lot of like body endurance for that kind of stuff. I'm sure if I went CrossFit and like smacked those ropes around for a bit, I'd be done in like 2 minutes.
Battle ropes. Yeah, I mean, it's a different type of movement, isn't it? So that's what happens, man. It's like
totally.
But like you said, something you've done for this long. So, okay, so that the first time you did the was it the cat? The first time you did it, the cat pass. That was the shot, or did you practice it first of all and then? You practiced it? No,
actually, that was the first cat that I did. Was it? I made it, and you know what? I did it twice.
Yeah,
because we didn't have two cameras. Like how it was like there was two angles of it.
Oh, for real?
On the top. Yeah, we didn't have two cameras, so I just did it twice.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's when you got the cat in the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see it there. Damn right, mother lovers. Yo, this is crazy, man. So we're chatting to Masta Marx.
So I'm just looking up sorry, I'm just sorry to distract a little bit.
Oh, that's all good.
A guy called, I don't know how you say this name. Sorry.
It's a French name?
No, Mihaly Hungarian. But he sort of his research was around this idea of like flow state, and that you get into like a sort of thing where everything falls away, and because everyone in the chat's talking about
sort of flow state stuff.
Yeah, it was
Sorry.
people in the chat talking about things like painting and, you know, graffiti art and all, you know, how all these things and skateboarding, how they sort of get you into this place where, you know, nothing else matters at that moment.
It's almost a meditative state.
Yeah.
Like even on the level that Marx is on, you know, doing all that, there's still a point of where it's like fighting, man. Like when you're sparring or something like that, or even just hitting pads, you know, with someone, you just get into a state where you're zoned, very euphoric, you know, you're really enjoying this, and whether it's calm or it's a state where, you know what I mean, everything's out apart from what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're just there, whether it be like performing on stage even, you know, and it's weird, but it feels like nothing else is there, even though it is, and you know it, you're aware it's there. You're just in a flow state of like, I'm doing this, and you know what I mean. And then when you come out of it, that's when you need to come down. You're like, oh man, yo, that was, you know, that was crazy. Like you can't.
You look
sleep.
at everybody and you're like, oh shit, we are here together.
That's what the beat writers in the 50s were noticing with like jazz saxophonists, or early jazz saxophonists, you know, that had like a flow that they would sort of, you know, get into a groove, and then that would be it, and then you'd be watching them freestyle essentially, and not everything just falls away. But yeah, something that's interesting. Everybody says they've found the sort of way of, everyone in the chat's found the one way or another of doing that.
Yeah, getting mindless. Well, somebody once told me that practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, and perfect is mindless.
Yeah,
perfect is mindless.
Yeah,
that's a deep one, man.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's stuck with me for a long time.
Perfect.
You know, if it's natural, you just do.
Yeah, it's true, man. That's very true.
I think of it as like, it's once you learn something enough, it becomes what we call second nature. So like first nature is things you do naturally. Second nature is things that you've learned to do naturally. So that's when it becomes a second nature to you. Yeah,
for real.
I never fully understood that quote. Thank you.
That's a good one, man.
That's
down DNA right there, my beloveds. Jeez.
That's it.
All right, so dealing with the fear then. Like obviously when you started it must have been like, you're seeing stuff where you're like, wow, I want to be able to do that, but I don't know. You know, there must have been a point where you're like,
doing that.
Yeah, you still do it now.
Still doing that, yeah, absolutely.
And obviously that's a state, you know, what we were talking about before, to do with like risk management and whatnot. You know, it's a hard thing to sorry?
You go.
Yeah, I was saying that it's a hard thing to sort of even assess, like risk assessment. It's hard to even assess when you're in a state of fear anyway. You know, you don't really use the right part of your brain when you're in a state of fear. So how the hell do you get through that? Do you manage to break through that barrier in the first place? Because I think that's what a lot of people, when they're like, yo, I don't know about doing that. That's that. Do you know what I mean? That's the point.
Fully. You see it all the time. Fucking what the thing is like I kind of used to think that I would like overcome fears or whatever, but you more just like conquer them and understand it. Like the fear is always going to be there. I've landed on many a handrail from quite a distance, you know, and it's like, it's all right. I've done it thousands upon thousands of times. But like there's still a fear there that's like, you know, like if you do go like completely mindless and you like shin yourself on the rail or whatever, it's gonna hurt. So it's more like this tool that your brain still keeps, because it relates to that thing that I said earlier about your brain wants to keep your body safe. So there's always gonna be something in there telling you like, hey, what you doing, body? And yeah, you got to do that whole thing again where you're like, it's cool. We got this. We've done this before. We've managed this. Let's show me how we do. Let's show me how I do. but to my brain.
Me, myself, and I.
Me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a tool. Like if you're really afraid to do something that you want to do, then you're probably not ready, and it's probably not safe.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at something that you want to do, and you're like, you know what, I can try this, and if it doesn't work, then I can just sort of like roll out to the side. Then you're ready to start like understanding that fear. But if you try to do that prematurely, you just like you're gonna traumatize yourself. Some people stand on the edges of buildings for like no reason. They're like, I want to feel that adrenaline. Fuck.
That's the dangerous side of it, isn't it? Because obviously parkour heads are quite, you know, you lot are quite hardcore. So, you know, I can imagine some people do get carried away, and they get to that point like, oh shit. Have you ever been there where you're like, nah, you know what? Nah, I'm not doing this.
Heaps of times. I did it yesterday. I did it yesterday. There's especially because it's been raining, like the wetness is a big factor, changes everything. It's part of checking your surfaces.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, the other day I wanted to do this move where I basically run up a wall, and then there's like a rail and then a wall. So the idea is I run onto the rail and then take 2 steps on the flat wall, and then I get up to the next level of the car park. But it's scary. And I've been sort of going back to that spot over and over again for the last couple of weeks, just looking at it, not even practicing it, just standing at the base of it, being like, what if?
Yeah.
And you know, John Lennon, Imagine.
So is that like that's like sizing up?
Yo, man, salivating at the mouth and shit.
Yeah, straight up hungry. I'm hungry.
So is it like a form of sizing it up, or are you sort of like trying to overcome the fear of it? What is it in
It's definitely overcoming a fear, because I'm like, every time I go back there, I think about all the different things that could go wrong, and like to see if I have any answers for that. If there are too many questions and not enough answers, we're starting to get into a dangerous realm.
Interesting.
And when you're in a dangerous realm, you actually think a lot more, and that takes away from the perfect execution.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like you can't just be like naturally good at stuff and then, you know, do like high level parkour. Like your body and your brain it won't let you.
Okay.
You know, it's like getting somebody to do a backflip that's never done it before. You're like, hey, do a back tuck. You can show them. You can demonstrate it. They're not doing it. Their brain is telling them, bro, you're going to fall on your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting somewhere with that then. So the fear is to do with having not enough answers,
no knowledge
internally as well, not just like answers as in intellectual answers, but internal answers that the body's comfortable with that answer, and not just like, oh yeah, I think I understand what's going on. It's got to be a sort of like, no, that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's like, I get it, you know, type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's cool about that means that like, yeah, you can train hard to get where you need to with parkour, but you can also just understand a concept and have things click.
Yeah. So, and I guess that, like, in my head, that's kind of the beginning stage of like, okay, that's how I'll be able to deal with that and that, or that should be, I should say, that should be the way. And then your body now kicks in, like, okay, you know what I mean? So
with its answers that it knows.
Practiced
before.
And then
I always see it as negotiating.
Exactly. Because then now you put those into practice, like physically.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, okay, I've dropped that many times. This is how I land at that sort of distance, you know.
Yeah, like I've landed on a wall. I've landed on the tops of walls. I've caught them like cats before. You know, if all the pieces are there and you feel okay, then it's actually safe. And it's even safer when you do it with people that have that ability. So if you like, you want something, you're hungry, but you don't have the knowledge, maybe somebody can give you that quick fix.
So how did you respond to like the whole COVID thing then? What was your like? You know,
Oh, I got lucky. I didn't get it.
but I mean, everyone sort of reacted in quite a fearful way to.
Oh, it was a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it?
What was your sort of? I mean, do you sort of remain calm about it all while it was happening, or what's the? Find yourself cleaning everything.
Like I'm pretty calm because, like, I guess because I'm over here, so we got all this stuff to sort of prevent it. Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty wild time. Like our the whole of Sydney got shut down, just like everybody else, for a really long time. All of the like heaps of different industries couldn't work anymore, but I was working as a garbage man at the time, so I was sweet. The bins never sleep.
Yeah, you must have been overtime.
That shit always goes out.
You must have been working overtime during lockdown, boy. Jeez. That's what people were doing, is just eating shit and throwing shit away.
Only the essential workers were allowed on the street, so I was like part of the force that was allowed on the street, which is pretty interesting. It was a very eerie time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I got my jab straight away. Second jab straight away.
Oh, for real?
I mean, I read about the polio stuff, how they had to bring like Elvis in to get the rest of the people to get on board.
Yeah.
We've done this before as humans, so like we've been through this stuff, but with like lesser technology, less knowledge, less answers.
They only had Elvis back then. This time they had like the full force of the media instead.
Yeah. Media's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just thinking how you'd apply this thing of like the fear thing to something like the COVID stuff. Is that like people responding in certain ways, and it's because their body doesn't have the answers, and
they don't know the answers either.
That's what I mean.
Like, they're like, what is this shit? And you're like, it's this, and they're like, yeah, but like, how can I know? Without experiencing it.
I think that's definitely a big part of it, is not knowing, because a lot of people would always say just in case, and so just in case is because you don't know. You're like, just in case.
Fear of.
Yeah. Fear of.
The unknown.
The unknown.
It's all about the unknowns. You don't know.
Fear of the unknown. Yeah, okay. That is it. Yeah, it is about the unknown. Freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where this is how I can equate pretty much everything to doing a jump that's scary. You don't know what's going to happen at the end. Don't even know if you're going to make it.
Yeah.
You don't know because you haven't done it.
Yeah, and you don't. Yeah, when you don't know, you sort of like can monologue all sorts of fantasies in.
Right. The same thing can happen then, because every time you jump, it's a new jump. So even like you said, you've done that one twice. The second time could have gone a different way.
Yeah, like it could have gone a different way. Like I could have like my angle could have been different. Like on the first one that you saw was great because I did what's called an arc. Like when I shot off, I shot at like a 45-degree angle. There was a peak, and I was able to come at the wall like quite softly. But the second one was a bit flatter. I almost went straight to the wall.
Okay. So yeah, it's lucky we just caught that was the whole idea, was to catch you landing.
Yeah.
So see it there. So that goes to say then, man, it's like, preparation is definitely key, and also understanding that any time can be different, no matter how many times you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
There can be nuances that are there.
You have to be aware of all the questions that will be presented to you when you do something. You don't necessarily have to answer them all, but if you can, it's better.
That's what I think, man. Like definitely the case of, something that you're into, you really got to dig deep. You got to look at, like Dan said before a few episodes ago, you got to look at both sides, man. You can't just be looking at from your angle and feeling like, yeah, I've got this. You've also got to look at the other side of the wall. Like you said, you got to check if it's even, like, how do I know if this is even going to grip? Is this right for the type of shoes I'm wearing? All that sort of stuff.
Imagine you land on some edge and the bricks come out.
And so for you to be, in order for you to kind of feel confident enough that, yeah, I do know what's going on here and I've got this, it is a case of really looking at each side of whatever the argument is, to really understand.
You have to know.
Yeah. Belief isn't just enough, is it?
If you want to attempt to answer a question, you have to know something.
And that's different to like intellectual knowledge. It's like what we're talking about is like a wisdom, really, of like the body knows.
Yeah, these are
not just someone told
you. Advice for how to move safely.
It's not just that someone told you to do it and then you was like, well, I think I understand intellectually how to do this. You have to sort of really understand it inside out. You know, and your body has to understand it. The body and mind have to understand it together. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just intellectual information.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to, if it's something you have to keep remembering of like, what was it that person told me I should be doing? Oh, I've got to remember how to do it. Oh, what's the stages? Yeah.
That is it.
It's got to go beyond that. You've got to know it in the body that it's real.
You have to, had a personal experience with it. Because, you know, nothing teaches you like a hard lesson.
Yeah. It's very true, man, because that's how I feel about even recording. Like I need to know it. I don't want to be reading it.
No, I do that. I'll sit on a verse for ages until I can just straight off my head, and I can change the cadences as I wish.
Yeah. And because then that's when it's like, so what we're talking about is like the point where it's in your system. Like for you to land like that, for you to hit the wall with your legs at that angle, it's already in your system to do it because you've done it enough times. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like you've
the information
practiced it enough times. Yeah, you've gone over it enough times that I don't even have to think about it. Like you said, it's second nature. Do you know what I mean?
We say in parkour, downloading information. So if you fail a jump, like you bounce back off of it or go too far forward or something like that, that's you downloading information.
Calibrating,
landing.
Yeah.
Turbo Tubbalicious is asking, have you ever got drunk and tried to show off unsuccessfully?
No.
Yeah. He's like a martial artist.
Not too long ago, somebody asked me to do a backflip. It's hard. Like, you know, when you're not part of a world, but you're like partially part of a world, you might say some stuff. And he's like, hey, I've like got heaps of gymnast friends and I've never seen anyone do a drunk backflip.
Later.
I'm like, never. You know, you probably don't have too many friends that do backflips either.
Yeah.
It's like, the whole knowledge thing again.
You're saying just because they're gymnasts, you think they can do backflips, but
I was working as a cleaner once, and I was cleaning the windows. Some guy came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you guys actually clean the windows?" And I'm like, "Oh, you've never like I do it when I was doing that job, I was doing it every day." And I was like, in my head, I was like, "Oh, you've never seen me do it, so therefore it doesn't happen."
That's it, innit?
Yeah,
that's it, man. Asking drunk as well. It's like, come on, man. Like, this is the time I should be doing that. You don't really know about this shit. Do you know what I mean?
It's the discipline of it again. You know, people who train to fight don't fight a lot.
No, they don't fight. They don't go to the bar.
Don't go out every weekend look for a fight. A bit more discipline than that. Yeah. Once you learn how to discipline yourself, you're.
I think once you take it serious.
Yeah.
But there are some fighters that kind of fast out. You know what I mean, let's just say it like that.
That is always going to be different people.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's the problem, you know. Time of the year, what time of the year you were born, it all matters, mate. You know what I mean? Get yourself in trouble. It's your fault, mate. You little Scorpio, blah. You get yourself in trouble, yeah. So
now.
What was I going to ask you? It was to do with the side of it was something to do with, because we were talking about doing it again and again, like repetitive
drilling.
Like the drilling. So how often are you training, like, and how many hours a day or whatever? How often are you training a week?
Well, right now I'm sort of having a bit of a lazy period. So like I'm only sort of training when I meet up with Dom.
Yeah. Dom Tomato.
So he's like, well, he's my neighbor. So when he's going out and I feel like it, I just call him. But I'm going through some changes in my life. I've become a performing DJ.
Oh, for real?
So my hours are all different. But yeah, normally, like when I'm feeling pretty good and the weather's not trash like it is now, it's an everyday thing for me, because it's like it's a huge part of my life. You know, I train parkour for like the brain stuff, and I train it to keep myself healthy, and it's also one of my like outlets for something that I do when I'm like not doing all the other things that I do. It's essentially, it's like my fun, like my joy. It's one of my ladies.
So how often you spending time with that lady a day then, when you're, you know, on average?
Oh, like 4 to 6 hours. Jeez. I'll be sore all week and go at, like, wake up in the morning. Like, you know, when you train well and you wake up in the morning and your body is just stuffed. You know, all the muscles, like, they feel like they want to like jump out of your skin because they're so sore from like overworking it. And then you just go out and do it again because you're like, I don't know what else to do.
Yo, that is crazy, man. And are you doing lots of drills in terms of like just for endurance and whatnot? Or
yeah, of course. You know, you gotta keep your conditioning up. It's a lot easier to do when you're stronger. Like when all your joints and your body is all strong and ready to do it. If it isn't, then you're in a nice opportunity to build yourself up like that.
In what sense?
Well, the parkour is a full body experience.
Yeah.
So if you do it regularly, you're going to end up getting pretty damn jacked. And if not, you'll just be strong to the core. It's very important to be able to lift yourself up, I think.
I can back that. That's for sure, man. Definitely does do that to you. Tones you up like a mother lover, boy. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're looking pretty good. Getting your training in.
Oh, I haven't. You know what? I haven't trained for a minute, man, but I'm going to get back on it soon. Dealing with an injury.
Lucky with them genetics.
Yeah, doing my best, man. I fast still, you know, so I think that kind of helps for some reason.
I do that. I rate that.
So what's it like with diet-wise then for you in terms of like obviously keeping yourself in a good state? Are you bothered about it, or, you know, how disciplined are you?
Nah, I'm not. No? Not disciplined.
Okay. Because, you know, some of you call yourself athletes, like parkour athletes. I heard you say it earlier. So in that sort of sense, do people care that much, or?
Yeah, like there's a big health thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a big push towards being more healthy. But it's not like in the indoor gym world where they're like, eat this thing and eat that thing. I go by an input output.
Output.
If I need my output to match my input. So that means eating and expending energy. So like I make sure that, I don't really make sure much, to be honest. I try to do more than I put in.
Right.
And I try not to eat things that I don't like. There isn't too many of those, so.
What is it in general? What's your parkour diet?
Parkour diet? Oh God, fucking whatever you put in front of me, I'll eat it with a straw.
But so what you're saying, as long as you're overworking, and you'll get rid of that anyway.
Yes, yeah. I think so. I don't know if that's true for everybody, but it definitely works for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be like, do that, and then it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, everyone's different as well. I
Absolutely.
think, you know, so what might work for you might not work for other people, and vice versa. You know, like that's one thing I've really noticed, is that people have their own taste, their own things that they like. You know, some people, they don't like too much fruit. Some people don't like too much veg, and it seems to work for them. But, you know, yeah, it's obviously like a state of a balanced diet. You know, you're getting your right levels of nutrition in. But
well, actually, I do find that if I eat like shit food, that my energy levels go down quicker, and I feel like I need to eat more, but my stomach is full.
Full of shit.
That's like when you eat like the Maccas and all that the McDonald's and all that kind of shit.
What's so what's shit food in Australia then?
Maccas, bruv.
Right, okay. And what's good food?
Like more like less processed stuff. So like if you're gonna have meat, like have a steak or a chicken or something like that. Like straight from the source. Get vegetables. The classic nutrition rule for dinner: meat and 3 veg.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good standard. It's like a real good minimum.
Is your food pretty much like English food, or what's your what's the also? I've never been to Australia. I don't really know what Australians eat.
We pretty much just drink chocolate milk and eat meat pies.
Yeah, apart from shrimps and barbecues, that's all I know.
What's a shrimp?
Whatever they say, throw a shrimp on the barbie or something. The Australians.
Prawns.
Yeah, prawns. Yeah.
But we throw steaks.
Right, so steaks. Do you have prawns or not? You just have steaks.
I recently watched the throw another shrimp on the Barbie ad.
Oh, is that what it's from? An ad?
Oh, is it an ad?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an ad. We don't even say shrimp.
And like Foster's is not a drink that everyone drinks over there. Like they try and make out like Foster's
Aussie myths.
Yeah.
Smashed.
You don't really find Foster's. Not like you do find it in the liquor store, in cases. In the fridge area.
It's for the English tourists.
Yeah.
Well, that shit crack me up.
Beer is definitely a huge thing here, though. People love it. But it's not Foster's.
But you have you grow quite a lot of veg, quite a lot of. Is it like everything sort of in from Australia? So you're not having to import loads of stuff.
We agriculture and mining, but we do a lot of trading.
Oh, right. Okay.
Main partner, China.
Yeah.
Big boss, China.
Yeah, but you have a lot of homegrown good food, basically, in Australia. You still have a lot of homegrown stuff.
Yes, lots of that. Yeah, but also it's kind of like mini America, so there's heaps of crap.
Okay, right.
Heaps of crap. You want crap? No problem. I can get that to you quicker and cheaper than you can get the good shit.
Yeah. Like everywhere, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
just like everywhere.
As long as you know where where this good shit is, you're all good.
Yeah.
Kenny Rebel says Foster's sucks.
Yeah, Foster's sucks, bro. Bloody oath.
I'll tell you what doesn't suck though. Cannister's CBD products, my beloveds. Cannister'suk.com.
Legalize it here, please.
Is it not legal in Australia yet?
No, it's not.
Serious?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be for a little bit too.
Playing games, man. They're playing games. Well, I mean, if you want to get that import, I'm sure it can happen. Cannister'sUK.com. They've got a whole bunch of CBD products. CBD Belgian chocolate bars, indica. You know what I mean? Remember indica? Or you can get sativa, which is more a hype. Like, yo, sativa. Yeah?
Yeah.
It can happen. It can happen. Not necessarily like you're going to be mad hype, like you had a coffee or nothing like that, but a good feeling of like, yeah, I'm into this. Like, I want to do this.
You're up.
You know what I mean?
Get lifted.
You got CBD balm, a really good balm. A whole bunch of, a variety of sprays. You can get indica. You can get sativa. A variety of sizes, my beloveds. You can also get a full spectrum spray, which I got that, man. And the full spectrum.
Delay spray.
Hey, bruv. It just hits you, man.
That's something
like,
I know nothing about.
Spray. CBD. full spectrum. It hits you like, okay. I get it now. You know what I mean? Everything's calm, bruv. Delay spray. Yo. And there's a whole bunch of other products on there, man. And guess what? Oh, yeah. Also the stirrers, man. How can I forget the Belgian chocolate stirrers? CBD really helps you calm the fuck down. Just relax. The balms help you with, I'm sure this would help you, man, for sure. Because it's like for muscle pain, your joints and whatnot, rubbing the balm on really helps. Full spectrum, of course. You know what I mean? But you can go for sativa or indica, whichever one you want, man. hit up cannisteruk.com and guess what? You can get a discount, a whopping 20% off. If you type in the code SYMNNKNA, that's something you might not never know nothing about. As an acronym, bitches and bitchettes. Make sure you hit them up, man. cannisteruk.com for all your CBD products. And we appreciate you mother lovers locking in. We're chatting to Masta Marx.
We've actually got a couple of questions there for Masta Marx. Nick
Tyler. Shout out to Nick Tyler.
Yeah,
shout out to my boy.
Oh, that's someone you know already, right? Okay.
Someone I know, yeah.
He's big in you up.
Wicked, man. Nice one for tuning in.
Coming out.
That's my homie.
Yeah, he's not lying, man. Freshest MC, number one freshest MC coming out of Oz. He's not lying right there, boy. I tell you that right now. Right. Ouch. Yeah. We'll have to play you something a little later, you know what I mean? Shout out to Kenny Rebel. He says, you ever heard of the Glucose Network?
No.
What is it?
What is that, Kenny Rebel? You're going to have to...
Please.
Yeah, what is that?
Elaborate.
You're going to have to elaborate on that one because, boy, that's something we might not never know nothing about. The Glucose Network.
The sugar network.
Sugar,
right?
yeah. It sounds like sugar. I don't know what type of sugar.
Sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Might be a underground network of sugar smuggling out of Australia. No, I don't know.
Wow.
That do
YouTube
parkour.
channel out of Oz, he said. An Australian YouTube channel. Glucose Network. I'll look it up. Carry on talking.
Yeah,
Talk amongst
he's going to look that up, man. Yeah, man. So for yourself then, are you into like entering the sort of competitions and whatnot, or is it more like you said for your mind, for your body, soul?
No, I don't really like to enter competitions because of that whole rushing thing. You know, like in a competition, it's kind of like, you know, proving who is sort of better. That's the whole point of sport at whatever reason. And it's about performing as well as you can, but under pressure.
Yeah.
And that's not really why I started the sport for. So I've entered a few competitions before and not performed my best. Yeah. Because it wasn't fun. It wasn't like the outlet that I started. Too much pressure.
Makes a lot of sense, man. Takes away the fun, right?
Yeah. And it's like with a lot of parkour stuff, you want to have several attempts.
Yeah.
Because doing what's called like what we call a one bang, getting something in the first go, it's not usually a thing because you got to do all those preps.
Yeah. The hard part, right? The hard part is the
prepping. The slow build before you execute.
Jeez. So then obviously that's, another reson why you'd be like, yeah, I'll do it again. I'll do it a few times actually. I'm going to add this to
exactly. Because you're there.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, man. That
got me pretty excited.
What I love about it is it just goes to show, man, how important it is when it comes to practice making perfect or, doing the best you can to make it. Is because
perfect practice.
Yeah, perfect practice as well. And until you get to that point, until it is perfect practice, like say same thing with like memorizing lyrics or whatever. It's obviously after a certain point where now you've got it and it's clicked. You know what I mean? But now can you perform it in front of people? Like you've got a camera there watching you and, taking these jumps. That's a whole nother level to it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have it down at that point.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Bruv, it's nuts, man. So did you start off like doing it, in a soft, like on soft terrain, whether it be grass or in the sort of gymnastics?
I started on grass and beach terrain. So you know what the beaches are like over here.
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate.
You fucking right.
There's quite a few of them.
Yeah, so
there's a few near my house as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, soft sand. I like soft sand for like practicing like a big drop because when you land on the sand, it moves. So that's the whole the thing that hurts you the most is the stopping, like the motion stop. Like you would get killed the other way as well. Like if you weren't moving and then you just all of a sudden moved at like 100K in like less than a second flat, like you would get hurt.
Yeah,
I don't know if you would die from that, but you would definitely get hurt because of just the sudden change of speed. And if you just fall and then just hit the ground, you're literally going like as fast as you could to absolute zero.
Nuts.
That would kill you without a wall. That's why that's why they're like, oh, even if you fall on the water, you know, from a great height, you'll still get, you know, squashed.
Yeah.
Because the surface water is hard and it's going to make you slow down like heaps.
Yeah.
Like almost stop you. If it was open water, like, you know, with jets going and you went into it, you wouldn't feel the resistance of that hard pace, and you'll just go down and your descent will slow in the water because of its density. When the top has the tension.
So that's why your first landing on the wall is the sort of that's breaking.
Yeah, that's
that
the first
for you,
break.
basically. Yeah. So is it like about trying to break up that fall as much as possible, really?
That's actually what it's all about. It's about dispersion and distribution of impact.
All right.
Even when you land on the like on top of a wall, like in a precision jump, you're still like you reach your toes out, and you know your toes touch it, and then your ankle starts to bend, and then your legs bend with it, and you're like, you know, you're not like you like you go with it a bit. Sometimes if it's too much, you see people crawl out like a cat because the force sent them down there, and they need to sort of essentially cat the floor now. It's too much. There was even like if you're on the Dom Tomato level, you're beyond catting the ground. You kind of have to roll now.
Yeah, he does some crazy jumps, man. Like crazy high jumps and ridiculous. Yeah, he's just like, what? Like,
have we got anything in the videos that you sent over with?
No, I didn't think about it.
Right.
Send something over.
I'll look it up now.
Yeah, we might get. Oh no, I don't know.
It's pretty easy to find, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just right, Dom Tomato.
Oh, yeah.
So, is there like you talking about doing it on sand? I'm imagining that's more likely barefoot, right?
I mean, I'm an idiot. I'll wear my shoes at the beach.
Okay, so then you're getting used to the feel in your shoes, and then it's the same thing, like you said about touching your toes. Then you know, all of that kind of matters, and it's like how much can you feel with your shoes on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How much can you feel? It's like if you practice a roll, like a safety roll, if you do it on the grass, like it's nice and soft. So if you like roll over parts that you would get hurt over, you're not going to know. And if you go and perform it on concrete and you haven't been doing perfect practice because of the soft surface or whatever, you're going to roll straight on like your hip or something, and it's going to be sticking out, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. So it's like all the force from like dropping. Imagine you disperse it rolling across your back, and then it just hits one bone. And the one bone cops all of it.
Yeah, Jesus, man. Fragments, man. There might be fragments in that.
Let me load this one up.
That's nuts, man. Yeah, it's crazy, bruv. But trust, man, there's people out there who love it, man. Definitely. You lot do.
Thrill seekers, dopamine hunters.
Let's just see.
Yeah, for real.
Let's just see what this one's like.
Oh, is this?
These people like Charlie without using it.
It's just like, what the hell, bruv?
What do you think about that, bro?
Crazy. Yeah.
The fuck,
like,
eh? Look at that guy. He's like, ooh. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
You're a sicko.
Like, it's nuts, man.
Two people have done that jump now.
Yes, out to Nick Tyler. He says, look up Masta Marx show reel.
No, I'm not one of the people who've done it.
Look at that. So yeah, it looks like he sort of buckles at the end, but that's part of it because you got to sort of break that momentum. Yeah,
Well, he's got to break the momentum,
and he does another jump at the
he's
end.
aided by the sand. It could go to it could go wrong with the sand because he could get like stuck in it.
Right, crazy, man.
But the fact that when he lands and like heaps of sand sort of like explodes out of the way, that helps with the whole dispersion thing. If you land on concrete directly, it has so much pushback. You know, like I'll put it this way: if you were to do a front flip or on the ground, like run, it'll be a lot easier to do it on the concrete because of the spring back.
Okay.
It has tension and it pushes back, like it responds to you.
Yeah.
Whereas the sand sort of just like moves out of the way.
Yeah. Okay. So, and it takes some of the impact as well in that sense then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he does a little sort of spring forward after.
Here's a safety roll.
Yeah, there. Just pushes back out again.
Yeah.
Because he's still moving so fast.
Yeah.
He can't just like land on the sand and stop there.
Yeah.
No, so that energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It has to go somewhere. That energy is there.
It's mad,
you can't
isn't
get
it?
rid of it either. You can only spread it out over like more of you.
It's mad, bruv. It's mad.
There's that little leap again. Little
energy.
Is this like a front flip video?
A dive in fronts, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be all this kind of stuff, high drops.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a master of this. He's the best person I've ever met.
Yeah.
At dispersing the impact.
Yeah, he does crazy, like, this is nuts, but he does some other stuff where you're just like, what? Like, how?
Yeah, like all the flip praise and stuff. You saw the one at IMAX, did you?
I think so.
Where he did the front flip over the big gap.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, bruv. It's shit like that where you're just like, what the hell? And so it's a case of dispersing the energy. Disperse that energy in the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's go back. Let's check Masta Marx, some of that movement, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing, bruv. And you know what I mean? Because you're obviously thinking about what the human body can do. But it's not just about the body, it's about the mind as well. And I think we've got there. We're understanding now a bit more about the mindset. There was something you said about Dunning-Kruger before when we were chatting. Yeah, break that down.
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger is like, you know, when like the more you learn about something, the more you realize that you know nothing. And it's just a good thing to remember all the time, you know, because as your confidence peaks in something, like it just means that your understanding comes higher. So yeah, you just, when you think you know, like when you're at that point where you feel like you know everything, just look a little bit deeper because there'll be more to find, and you'll realize you're at the base of the mountain, not the peak.
I think that's something that a lot of people really got to swallow, man. You know, like it's not about, like we've been saying before, it's not really about understanding something or feeling like you've got the understanding of it and leaving it at that. Do you know what I mean? It's making sure it's backing that claim. It's like making sure, okay, so you got to look at the other side to make sure, like, all right, whatever new news comes up or whatever, you know, you got to look at that and be like, okay, just to make sure you're on the right path. Do you know what I mean? You're not taking that effect, you know, and just thinking like, yeah, I know it all and that's it. Like that, you're always going to be learning. There's always more to learn.
That's right. That's when it's over, when you've like decided that you've given up on learning things. I still feel that parkour can teach me a lot more things. You know, like I have never done parkour as like a 40-year-old, for example. Like the different kind of lessons I'll learn. And that applies to everything, you know, like there's always more if you want it.
Always more, boy.
There's always more.
So look at this one.
Check this out. He's got the baggy slacks.
Oh yeah, this is a nice older video, like community bit of Sydney for you.
I know, man. Your ankles, innit? You're just thinking like, yo. Crazy.
You should get Dom on and have a look at his ankles.
Yeah.
What are they, big? Or are they big? Has he got big ankles? What's the result of this on your?
They
ankles?
look fine. Like you'd think, you know, like You'd think there'd be some sort of like information, but they look fine.
Brilliant. Wow.
Because we've all been jumping for like, I think Dom's on the 15-year tip, maybe 14. I'm on the 13, that's for sure. And like me myself, my body's fine. Like I got no underlying or overlying injuries.
Wicked.
And the other thing is like I've got a good comparison because I have you probably know that rugby league and union is huge here.
Yeah.
A lot of people throwing themselves at each other.
Yeah.
So it seems to me, well, it appears that the longevity of parkour training outdoes the longevity of rugby and gymnastics and other sports like that. Because we're all still good and fresh, and a lot of people that I did know that were doing that kind of stuff are now like sort of reverted to like not doing anything. They got injured along the way, or it just wasn't like. What I think is it's like some stuff just isn't engaging enough to keep you there forever.
Yeah, and it's maybe not full body as well. Is that like if you're playing certain positions in rugby, you're only doing like certain things. You know, you're not this when you're looking at this, you can see how full body it is. It's just every single muscle is being tested at all times.
Yeah, exactly. You're testing your reflexes, your reaction times, all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes in rugby, the only thing that's getting tested is your ears.
Is your fucking metal.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, how hard can you get slammed?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing,
how many
man.
Times? 3 times.
There'll definitely be more concussions in rugby as well. You know, like all that high impact. Those high.
Well, yeah, there's a lot more
sports.
unknown stuff happening in rugby. With parkour, it's you.
Exactly.
Just you. And the thing. And like the only unknowns are like surfaces that you didn't check.
Yeah.
Whereas in rugby, you could be running like straight for the try, like, oh yeah, and then like fucking big boy just comes out of nowhere and just knocks you out.
Yeah. So it's also to do with then that, the unexpected is that with this you are sort of you're trying your best to sort of work out all the problems before you go into it, because you don't want to leap over a 20-foot wall and just fall down the other side. So you need to know where everything is.
No, I when I first started parkour, I thought it was kind of like that. So I remember going for like a run, like a freestyle run, and then like going to jump over this wall on the other side. It was massive.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh shit. Like I sort of like, it was weird because I was so new to it. I didn't really have any moves. But like when I jumped over the wall, I kind of like, I saw the edge coming and I got locked in this weird like handstand where my head was like over the edge and my body was sort of like tilting. And I was like willing my body to rock back to the other side, and it worked. I wouldn't have died, that's for sure, but I would have got hurt. I didn't know how to negotiate an obstacle like that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'd never been in a situation where I was at a drop that high. So I didn't even like, this is not time for, you know, this is a practice time, not performance time.
Yeah.
Learning how to separate the two has been part of the journey as well.
Yeah. So it looks like unrehearsed when you see it.
Yes.
When you see
yes,
the
but
videos.
you're seeing the final one,
Exactly.
you know, like after all of the after all the choreography.
Yeah.
You know, all the dance steps have been put in place, 1 to 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're now seeing the final art.
Very good.
Final picture.
And it's meant to, like when it's presented to you, it's meant to look like if it's Dom, it's not really meant to look super easy, you know, like it's meant to look wow. But then a lot of parkour, when it's presented to you, you're meant to watch that and go, I feel like I could do that.
Yeah. It's
what
true.
I'm thinking, watching it now.
It's true. You know,
Yeah, you know, exactly. You're meant to look at it and go like, you know what, that actually makes sense.
Yeah. It's true though, man. You watch it, you're like, yo. But man.
I have someone I'd like to recommend for you guys to check out in parkour. His name's Joe Scandrett.
How'd you spell that?
Joe.
Yeah.
And then Scandret. I don't know if it's 2 T's or not, but I don't know anybody else with that name.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Dom are probably my favorite athletes, and I'm lucky because Dom's my friend.
Wow. Yeah, that must be high levels, man.
Yeah, you'll love them. Promise.
Yeah, it's beautiful how much it's growing as well, man. Like with all the interest.
Yeah, and you know what? It nearly got taken out by So like I love the growth of MMA and UFC because it was sort of left to grow into this beautiful thing that we all love and respect now.
Yeah.
But we like parkour has had to deal with like Ninja Warrior and like other things like Ultimate Tag where they just try to sort of, glamorize it up a bit.
Mm.
And then that's kind of what makes things fads. That kind of stuff being commercialized too early and
they water it down
and whatnot. It didn't happen with UFC, and I just don't want it. And it's become this huge, beautiful thing, Even if somebody doesn't enjoy combat, like respect, like this is kind of what Bruce Lee wanted.
Yeah. For real, it's the closest thing. Yeah, true.
He wanted everybody sort of testing that shit out. And, and because it wasn't like commercialized in a funny, weird way, it's been allowed to grow.
Yeah. It's got a hardcore following. And then obviously like the big names that draw people in. You get the text message about, hey, Conor McGregor, did you see the fight? There's always the big names of that, people that don't watch it all the time. But yeah, man, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good
Very
thing.
good thing.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so the same thing is happening now in terms of.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, this guy's crazy. I follow him. He's crazy, man.
So I watch this guy and I go, how?
He's from here as well, isn't it? He's from.
He's one of you boys.
Yeah, UK. Look at that. Walks off casual.
Oh.
Like, what's that? What is that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What the hell,
what you doing,
man? Nah, bruv. How did you practice that?
Through. So his spirit animal to me is probably a key.
Right.
Jeez.
Mine's a bomb and he's a key.
He's a key. That's hilarious. A key,
Oh my God.
Levels, man. Levels, bro.
I haven't watched this in ages. I'm sort of a bit jaw smacked right now. Like, oh, fuck.
Get away, boy.
And then back over. Yeah.
What?
And he's good because he's got all the flips and the jumps,
Yeah, he's crazy, man. He's crazy.
Calculated. Super calculated.
Right. Okay. That's what I was just going to say. So all of this is all planned out.
You wouldn't do this. Yeah, you wouldn't do a lot of this stuff because, like, imagine some of the stuff that you'll see in this video, you actually don't get another chance.
Exactly.
If you fall. So you have to have all the pieces. That's my theme of today.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
You have to have all the pieces.
These are just a big elaborate set pieces.
Pretty much.
Yeah. When he's doing like
it's like having a conversation. It's like learning how to speak, like you learn words first.
Yeah.
And then you learn how to put them together in like small sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually you're having full conversations. And if you really understand the language, you start making music. And that's what you're seeing right now.
That's very deep, man. Levels, boy.
Yeah, right?
Levels.
I'm happy to introduce this guy to you guys because he's one of my faves.
Yeah, nah, he's sick. I follow him on Insta actually, and probably through you as well. But it's like
fireman shit.
Yeah. To be able to pull that off, like you're saying, man, you gotta have everything in place.
Yeah.
Jeez, smooth.
Like everything. So we're not seeing like what we're seeing like a culmination of like however long he's been training for.
Exactly.
All put together. Just like the man on the board, just like the best turntablists, they just do.
Man, it's phenomenal, man. Phenomenal what you lot get up to, bruv. Serious.
It's good fun. And it's not as scary as people think because of all those processes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm glad because it really important for people to remember that, man. It is about going through the processes. first of all. You know, like calculating it with your mind first of all, getting your body ready for it, but making sure that it's even possible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of like, you know, what you covering a lot of ground. Like you've got to check all bits of your terrain.
You got to use all your training all the time.
All the time, boy. Jeez. Yeah, man. It's been a good chat, bruv, man. Serious. We got to do it again, man. We got to do it again, bro.
I love this. You know, you're one of my key influences for hip hop.
Yes, man.
That's huge.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, bro. That means a lot, man. Coming from you, because, yeah, when I heard your stuff, I was like, oh, shit, this guy's rhyming, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's rare that you get to hear stuff like that. You know, so whatever, I'm like, yeah, okay, we got to do something.
So what is going on over your side with with hip hop? What's the?
I just sort of formed a group with my with one of my friends that I often make music with. His name's I call him the Crops Man. And we just released an album that has mice on it, called The Archetypes. And right now we're working on a couple of singles, sort of to accompany the time after the release of that album and in between the release of the next one. That's what's happening with me for music.
Archetypes.
And where can people get hold of you, follow you, whatever else? What are you on social media and stuff like that, or what's the best?
Yeah, I'm on everything. I reckon it's easiest to just stream. But yeah, Masta Marx is my name everywhere.
Masta Marx everywhere.
Yeah, okay. Everywhere. You know, except TikTok. Somebody already made that account and then messaged me like, "Do you want to buy this account?" Like, no, I'm just never coming on TikTok.
You just put the Masta Marx, real Masta Marx, bitch.
Yeah, something like that. You know, like Masta Marx official.
All right. So King Chico asked, "Do you think calisthenics and parkour go together?" It makes sense that it does. But there seems to be some underlying beef between the two. Hey, there you go. You saying that underlying beef between the two? I don't know about it. Is there underlying beef between?
Calisthenics, you don't do anything. Parkour, you do everything.
No, calisthenics is it's like it's a form of, it's like a really good form of conditioning, and the beef shouldn't be between parkour and calisthenics. It should be between calisthenics and resistance training. You know, like what's better? I'm like one of those guys that is like, well, you got to use a mixture of both. If you want to be at the top of your game, you got to eat well, you got to train calisthenics, you got to stretch and train mobility, and you have to do resistance.
Indeed. I'm with you on that.
Like I have my favorites, you know, but I've seen them lose before, so you can't just will something to be true.
It's whatever fits you the best. Really, that's what you should be doing. Because some people don't have the bodies for.
The thing about exercise is like a lot of people put themselves in a place where it's boring.
Definitely.
So they can't wait to be done with it. Like they just throw it in with the rest of their chores, like doing the dishes and shit.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, I got to go to the gym. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, you know. It's true, man.
Instead of me, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go and like work on this thing.
Yeah. Calisthenics for me is it's not active enough.
No?
Oh, no. I mean, it can be. Can you do a muscle up?
No, but what I mean is, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying for me personally, it just doesn't have enough activity. You know, I like going to work. I like manual work. So I like actually doing things and moving. Yeah, it's not engaging enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not the thing to do then. You know,
no, that's
like
it.
Some people are really super engaged by it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying for me personally, I tried it and I was like, yeah, it's not really active enough. I need like an activity.
That's so important. That's kind of like what I'm talking about. Like the exercise outlet that you choose kind of has to be interesting to you, or it's just going to be a chore. And then people. This is another bad thing. People often get to a goal that they want, and they're like, okay, I'm here now. I can stop.
Yeah, it's true, boy.
You know, and when you want to go to these people, be like, no, my friend, this is forever.
Yeah, this is a lifestyle.
Yeah, this is the way it is now. You want to be here, you got to do this.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah, I love that, man. Bruv, man, you dropped some gems for us, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thank you so much for having me.
Nah, man, we really enjoyed that, man. I hope you mother lovers out there enjoyed that too.
Please, you could put some fire emojis in
let's
the
see
chat.
That. Some
if you've got some
parkour emojis.
People doing flips and stuff. Yeah.
Flames feed my soul.
Yo. Yeah, man. That was really good, bruv, man. Really appreciate you taking the time out as well to come through and drop some gems on us, man. Yeah, we should do it again, for real. What was I going to say? Yeah, so let people know again about the release. We're going to play the tune before we go out. But yeah, tell people about the release, the Archetypes, you and Crops.
Oh, yeah. So me and my friend Crops, man, we spent a year working on an album basically for us. Like shit that we like to listen to, that we like to hear, you know, like beats and rhymes and like long, like I love long verses. You know, it's like to me, that's like the meat of the rap song.
What, like 32 bar? Or are you talking 60?
Yeah, like 24s, 32s, like whatever. Some songs are just whole verses, just one verse, you know, one long 60 fucking 8-bar verse or whatever. So we made stuff like that. A few 16s here and there, but yeah, it's very like sort of dark boom bappy type of hip hop and more things that we love. Like I love English, you know, the way it works, the way you can express and stuff like that. And I really love to play with the words. And this album for me has a lot of like free expression of like kind of what I want to say, how I want to say it, you know, like I don't hold back on things that other people might think are silly, like puns and, you know, other basic word plays and shit like that. Well, not basic at all, but still very fun. I like that. I find a lot of value in a rap song when you hear it and you like it, and then you listen to it again and you're like, oh, I get that now. And then you listen to it again. It's like Simpsoning.
Yeah. Nah, I hear that. So that was the aim.
The aim was to have something that we both really love. And then see how everybody feels about it. And it's going all right. It's going all right so far. The great thing is it's actually made it up to where you guys are.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I think it deserves it, bruv.
Thanks, man.
Definitely, man.
Thanks for your work on it too.
Hey.
Amazing.
Appreciate you getting me on, man. We're going to go out with that one. Yeah,
we are?
Yeah, a whole bunch of fire emojis. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because it's a school night, so, you know, people, all these lot always start moaning when we get on for too long. They got to get to bed and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, we definitely got to do it again, brother.
I'm keen.
Hit him up, man. If you want to learn more about the life of parkour, like I did that, hit up Masta Marx. You see the name on there, man. On Insta, Twitter, wherever you want, mother lovers. We appreciate you locking
everywhere
in, man.
Except TikTok.
Everywhere, yeah, everywhere except TikTok. Don't fucking support the TikTok one, man. Yeah, people try to scam you out of your name. That's madness, isn't it?
They sell your name to you.
Yeah, that might have happened to us on Twitch, actually.
Happens on one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's how it goes. But anyway, let's go out with this, man. A track by the Archetypes.
It's called
featuring. Oh yeah, go on. You introduce it, man.
I've like forgotten what it's called. I've forgotten like all the names of my tracks.
Off its axis, are we doing?
Yeah, let me.
That's it. Yeah, because I remember them as their original file names.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, like some of them are called like Xperis 90 and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, our song's called Cookery, new Cookery. No, it's not. It's actually got a name now.
Yeah. Because it was Cookery originally. Yeah. It was Cookery originally. Office Access, man. Archetypes, Crops, man. Masta Marx featuring myself. Let's go out with this. Yo, we want to give a shout out to all the people that were locked in, man. We appreciate you each and every time. Shout out to Gleam. Shout out to PLK. Good to have you back, bruv. You know what I mean? Back on the round sphere that we live on. Shout out to Regantology. Shout out to Kenny Rebel. Where's Don Smithers, man? Yo, shout out to Irish. Yes, big up the CMOS boss, of course. Teddy Sloomsman. That's Teddy Sloomsman, yeah? Is that who I think it is? Big up, man. Salute for locking in. Now, so nice one, JM, of course. You're more. For Oshi. Was Oshi? Someone else that I feel like I missed out, and it always bugs me when I do that. I always think of their name after. I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot to shout. Turbo Tubalicious. What's going on, bruv? Yo, we appreciate everyone who locked in, man. Masta Marx. Much love, brother.
Yeah,
let's go out with this one, man. Bruce Willis. Shout out to Bruce Willis. See me scrolling through, just making sure, like, you know what I mean? That's the Saturn in Leo. Always making sure shit is going down properly how it's supposed to. Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Doggone Irish. Yeah, and your mate as well, man. Shout out to Nick Tyler, man. Nick Tyler locking in. Is he in Oz as well?
Shout out to the big boy.
Is he in Oz as well, yeah?
Yeah, he's a couple 100 meters down the road from me.
Hey, that's love, man.
I'm going to go see a mother lover later.
Go and blaze one up, man. Shout out to King Chico, man. Big up all the crew that were locked in. We're going to go out with this tune. It's some shit you might not never know nothing about. My name is Mice Diggy. That's Dan DNA. We had Masta Marx in the building. And right about now, bitches and bitchettes, we're out. Mother lovers.
No, hold on.
Yeah. Run VT. Run VT.
Yeah, check it. Oh damn, have I got it? I'm about to clean the scene like I'm antibiotic. There's no artificial attachments or fancy bionics. I'm candidly rocking the stage in all ways, so the planet's popping. You can find us in the hoodie section. Crops my sticky, your marks got more bars to good reception. The look reflected by a crook perspective. We could professor hip-hop, a kid to use your book a lesson. We'll start with the word from the callous. We don't sit but loud slurp from the chalice. The rabbit always searches through the dirt for the carrots. I find that mind state is worse off than others. On a warpath, I'm blazing from the church to the paddlers. Should they get burned, then I could learn from the childish. Can't copy the tactics. Knocking it off of its wobbly axis. I take the earth at the balance.
Guess who's where he's not been for a hot min. Bops in, looking like Swamp Thing's offspring. Fresh off a 20-day pop binge. Pockets might have got slim, but I was locked in with some hot minge. Now the savage has been released. Back with the heat, keeps that inflammable in his reach. Channel is in the beast, having panicking in the streets, all vanishing before they let Dracula sink his teeth. The flow in possession is most of them threatened. Read them like a newspaper, then fold them in seconds. Nobody's hoping to test them, but they're slowly confessing. They're better off impressing Thanos in a poetry session. Brethren, displaying his different ranges of caliber. The uninvited guest that's quick to rage a parameter. From able-bodied to complications with bladder, I never discriminate. Now this kid is taking the cap.
You know I'm adamant. Fake the funk, that's a pattern. The comparison is falling to glass, you're all shattering. Yeah, I'm strutting like an iron lung champion, harder than adamantium to cut my cannabis. Never crash landing on accident, I drop down like a fucking nuke Maximus. We on point like the Pantheon's measurements. Got the high ground like we're claiming Mount Everest. I do this shit for me, so I never quit. AKT on the scene, no detective shit. Only porcupines for pigs. I steal the fucking sun out the sky just to light my split. I've looked deep in the eyes of the abyss and came out iller with some pine chips. I got the shit locked like bank folks. It's an antidote to get you hooked back like lassos. Whoa.
Don't got a cut to this rap, so well I do, so fuck it and fuck it to the jump off. Don't got a cut to this rap, so